Most Western corruption is at a very different level. I've encountered corruption 3 times in the UK, and it's always been exploiting legal loopholes and weasel words. Be me. Tree surgeon. Hired by local council to cut path through some small woodland. Most of them are ash trees, and there's a disease going round that will eventually kill every adult ash tree in the UK. Suggest removing all ash trees should have been the scope for the job. Council says no. They want path. Cut path. Council declares woodland on either side of path as separate woodland. Council created new woodland. Council awarded money by the government for reforestation. Raise taxes anyway because they're cunts. Second time. Working with charity. Unpaid but it's good for my CV and the food is free. Running a fundraiser for 2 local orgs. Raise £2k for local charity. £2k has to be declared and transferred to the charity's national HQ. 2 local orgs are awarded £500 each. Charity HQ literally stole 50% of the donation revenue. Oh no, it's supporting the charity for future campaigns, says 25-year-old charity ambassador who drives a Lexus. Third time. Need new V5C, proof of vehicle responsibility, e.g. who should insure it. Have to get a V62, V5C application from the post office. Have to pay £25 to the DVLA for them to process my V62. Wait 6 weeks. Phone DVLA. What was your V62 reference number? It was printed on the form. You'll have to do another one. I can't find your V62 unless you give me the number printed on your V62 that you sent us. It probably got lost in the post. Your offices are literally in the same city as me. Repeat 3 fucking times. Driver and vehicle licensing agency steals £75 from me before I get my scrap of paper which says I now have the joyous responsibility of paying tax on my car. Want. Adventurous life. Be me. Hanging out at the local ye old bumfic tavern on the edge of town. They love travelers, money, in this town, so everyone's real hospitable. Everyone's in good spirits, there's a dwarf buying people drinks, and some elf playing a violin in the corner, lots of laughing. This guy walks in kitted out like he robbed a museum. 60 pounds of armor, 2 swords, longbow as tall as he is, tomahawks, leather pouches on his chest, huge sack on his back like 3 backpacks roped together. Covered in dried blood and dirt. No one reacts at all, it's like they don't see him. He looks over everyone in the room slowly and keeps glancing up at the ceiling like he's checking if it's still there. He walks straight up to the barkeep, who's waved off 2 men from the bar to make room. No one complains. Guy puts down like a pound of coins on the counter and mumbles something. Barkeep nods and agrees, seems relaxed despite who he's talking to. Big guy walks across the room to an empty table in the corner, sets down his pack and sits down. He just sits there, staring at the room, think he might be sleeping. Serving girl comes over with a plate of meat and potatoes and a gallon jug of ale. Guy drops a fistful of gold coins on the table for her. She tries to give some back, she's never been paid in gold in her life. Guy's eyes bug out and he slaps her arm so hard she hits the floor. Room goes dead quiet. Before the local tough guys are on their feet, the weirdo's got a 4-foot longsword out in front of him, waving it back and forth and looking around like a panicking animal. Keeps glancing back at the ceiling. Barkeep hurries over, arms out, trying to calm him down, saying it was just an accident and everything's fine. Weirdo grabs his pack with one hand, still holding the room at sword point, and nervously edges towards the door and bolts out into the night. 5 minutes later. Everything's gone back to normal. Bizarre. I had my own strange one a few nights back. Be me. In what looks like a hotel room with some South Asian chick in a suit, looks could be Red Dot, could be Pocky, can't tell because she doesn't have any identifying fashion choices, just the brown skin and that vaguely Jewish nose. Trying to take up defensive positions, not sure what for. There's a snow pile in the room facing the door, she's struggling to figure out how to clamber on it to use it as a firing position. Ask to see her Glock, which is fitted with a suppressor and a light. She hands it over. I hold it by the slide with the grip facing away from me, jump in the air, and drive it muzzle first into the snow like a stake. Pull myself into a comfortable position. Shittatingran.exe. She demand her gun back. Hand it over. She then gives me some sort of unholy cross between a Beretta 70 and an SNW Model 59. It looks nickel-plated from a distance, with gold accents. Upon closer inspection it becomes transparent. Internal mechanisms are all still gold. Whatever. About this time, cops can be heard outside the room. Lots of yelling, mostly at each other it sounds like. Finally bust down the door. Dressed in civvies, but with plate carriers and other accoutrements of law enforcement tactical teams. One of them is holding some girl hostage. I immediately dome the girl. Everyone stops. Get chastised for killing some innocent. They all leave. It gets hazy after that, but I woke up shortly thereafter. I am unironically suicidal and depressive over my tinnitus. https://www.aada.org/managing-your-tinnitus/treatment-options. Consider treatment, it could save your sanity. Be me. 16. Get a text from my sister, 17, at 3 a.m. to come pick her up from a party. She snuck out of the house. We live in a rural area, and she's at a farmhouse a few miles away. I get there, and there's a bunch of fighting rednecks on the front porch. She's inside. There's a HS school football player having sex with a passed-out girl on the sofa. House reeks of weak. My sister is scared looking and drunk. She says she wants to get out of there. She didn't expect this. We turn around and start walking towards the door. Suddenly there's a giant explosion from the couch with the football player just as I'm walking past it. My ears are ringing. My left arm is searing with pain. Room is filling with smoke. Everyone is freaking out and running out. Apparently some drunk dude lit a 500 grams firework mortar shell and tossed it onto the floor by the couch. My ears don't stop ringing. They literally never stop ringing. At night I just hear a high-pitched whine or a ringing. I need to have a radio playing or white noise to sleep. It sucks. Be me. Homeland invaded by vampires. Flee to the Badlands. Build tunnel network. Bobby trap it with punges and mines. Pop up topside to be at a bare minimum an annoyance. Newer weaker ones are easier to kill, relatively speaking, takes a lot of firepower no matter what. Hence why you never fight them fair. Older vampires not so easy to kill, avoid direct attacks at all costs. Over-evolved lampreys found my hidey holes last week. Of course none of them wants to dirty their feminine noble hands. Could hear them arguing. They browbeat a fledgling to come in after me. He could have gone left or right. He went left. Poor choice. Dumbus tripped a punji stick trap. Screamed for hours before apparently bleeding R. And that's how I learned bloodsuckers can, ironically, die of blood loss. Be me, Slav and Slavlands. Spend most of my childhood and teenage years with grandfather, since other family was not much around. Grandpa is a cheery man, constantly keeping a little drunk and chain-smoking old filter-less cigarettes. Claims to be fairly high-tier spook for the previous ex-communist government when he was younger. Claims to spend most of his career by flying around Eastern Bloc, delivering letters, information, etc. The traveling stories alone are often hilarious. Russian World War II combat pilots flying commercial charters. When he gets more drunk than usual, he starts telling wild stories about Soviet experimental weapons. Lasers used on chinks, combat drugs, chemical and radiological weapons making whole villages infertile, etc. Love my grandpa, and he has photos of many places around the Soviet republics, that is true, but I just can't believe these stories. Many years later he dies. Inherits some of his personal belongings, his old car and surprising amount of money. Found out he was receiving fairly high pension. Dig through his papers, shitload of largely administration stuff, some tied to his, again very high, pension, but all marked with STB, Czechoslovakian Spook Service, stamps. Try searching his name in STB database, which were made public, so people knew who did what. Nothing. To this day I don't fucking know if I was simply bamboozled by a shitposting old drunk, or if he was actually telling the truth. No clue. God bless you, Grandpa. Be me, in a dream a few hours ago. Sitting on a bench outside a store eating lunch. Some crazy bitch starts stabbing people across the parking lot. Not my problem, keep eating lunch. She finally sees me, comes sprinting across the lot. Draw from Iwub, draw is perfect. Shoot her twice without any dream trigger fuckery. She hits the ground. Now the trigger gets 10,000 pounds pull, but it's fine because she's down. Someone nearby asks what ammo I was using. Harnedy American Gunner 115 GR with the XTP bullets. He nods and goes on about his day, ignoring the bitch bleeding to death by his feet. Look down at gun and it looks like it squibbed and blew up or like a hell dog bit the front off. Wake up confused. My recurring nightmare, be me, Jewish. In an apartment building, don't live there Earl. Have a menorah in the window for Hanukkah. Some white trash meth head sees it from the street and starts yelling a bunch of anti-Semitic shit at me. He gets a friend and they start trying to kick down my door. I'm waiting at the entrance with my Jericho. As soon as the door gets kicked open, I Mozambique both of them and they fall dead in the hallway outside my door. Call the cops. They bring me in because I killed them outside of my home and shot them multiple times. I have to hire a lawyer and spend a fortune on legal fees. The rest of the dream is me in court for hours and hours until I wake up. Be me. Go through portal a few months after they open on Earth and things settle down a bit. Take rifle, pistol, and some basic gear. Make a little money doing security work. New girl comes in, wanting to join up and become a security guard for convoys, and such too had an adventurous life. She's a goat-type centaur thing. I don't know what you call all these fantasy races. We take her out to the range to see how she handles a gun. First round she stiffens up and faints. MFW, a fainting goat girl wants to be an adventurer.